really cast it before, when you're putting extra counters on your creatures while fighting your opponent's creatures, making them sack their Corsair Crucifix. Plus, it just gives you outs to a lot of weird stuff in the format. You know, if you just play blue-white, main deck, you might be a
Welcome
little
back
soft.
to the final stage of Grand Prix London 2015. I'm your host, Matteo Moure, joined by my fabulous two experts, Moraine Liebert and Frank Karsten. We're glad you have stayed with us throughout the weekend, but even if you hadn't, you came in for the best part, the finals. And we have two awesome players. So, Moraine, why don't you introduce the two players in the finals?
Let's start with the player that lives 2 minutes walk from this place.
Okay.
Fabrizio Anteri from Venezuela, currently living in, London. He's playing Hangback Abzan.
Okay.
His opponent from Italy got his deck from his good friend Andrea Mengucci, Matteo Moure.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, let me try again, guys. So, first of all, we have Fabrizio Anteri living 2 minutes away from this venue. He was originally from Venezuela. He's now currently living in England, London. He's playing Hangerback Abzan. And then second, we have from Italy, got his deck from a good friend from Andrea Mangucci, Matteo Moure, also on Hangerback Abzan. So we're certainly going to see a lot of Siege Rhinos. We're certainly going to see a lot of Hangerback Walkers. It will be just a choice. Will it be Italy or England?
Yeah, well, let's not hesitate any further and head on down to the feature match area for the finals at GP London. Hello and welcome to the finals of GP London 2015. There you have Fabrizio Anteri from Venezuela living in London on the left and Matteo Moure of Italy on the right, both playing the breakout deck of the tournament, and they're starting off right now. Fabrizio with a Temple of Malady. I assume Matteo Moure is going to have a very similar start to the game as well.
Hangerback Abzan plays kind of like the Abzan aggro deck that we've seen around in Standard for a long time, except it has replaced Rakshasa Death Dealer with Hangerback Walker, which turns out to be playable even in a deck without Shrapnel Blast. It's a sweet value card, good early, good late, and the deck makes use of some of the +1/+1 counter teams from Anafenza, Dromoka's Command, and Abzan Charm to capitalize on the +1/+1 counters from Hangerback Walker. We might see a lot of Topters this game.
Oh, we might have indeed, but so far it's only just lands for both players. But there's an offensive from Fabrizio starting game off in swift fashion.
And coincidentally, one of the better answers to Hangerback Walker because it exiles.
Yes, indeed. Anafenza certainly one of the better 3-drops for in this particular matchup. Anafenza, of course, says that if a creature gets exiled, if a creature dies, it gets exiled instead. So Hangerback Walker does not create any Topter tokens should that die or go to the graveyard.
Yeah, the good thing about Anafenza also the fact that it's 3 colors, so Ultimate Pride doesn't kill it on turn 2, so it's actually really good on the play. Yep, so well, let's see what Matteo Moure does here, because he only played a land on turn 3, did not kill the Anafenza when it attacked, so I wonder what he is up to. There's a Temple of Malady from Fabrizio, and he's going to add a Hangerback Walk to the board as one. So there's a Hangerback Walk, a great interaction with Anafenza, but Matteo Moure takes advantage of Fabrizio Anteri's Urborg and plays a Siege Rhino, great blocker and a great attacker as well.
Well, it's still kind of a slow draw for Matteo here, especially if Fabrizio can back up his early pressure with a removal spell on Siege Rhino, and he does have a bunch in his deck, such as Abzan Charm or Hero's Downfall. Then he can up the
Dromoka's
pressure.
Command.
That will also work, yes. And now, hey, an extra counter on the Hangerback Walker.
Fabrizio has a super aggressive draw here. Not only getting the Siege Rhino away, but there's also Den Protector, which can bring back Dromoka's Command the following turn. Fabrizio's in great shape.
Yeah, he certainly is, and Matteo doesn't have a creature just yet. He's to be. Like, yeah, there we go. He has to play it as a 3/4 flyer, and Fabrizio also has his singleton planeswalker. Ajani, Mentor of Heroes, could come down and could make that. Everything is bigger than a 3/4 actually.
Yeah, so there you see the problem with the difference in the version, that one is running Wingmade Rocks, the other one isn't, and now we see the problem with Wingmade Rock. It's really bad when you're behind.
Yeah, Fabrizio has a couple of additional Den Protectors. He has 4 Den Protector in his list, whereas Matteo has 2 Den Protector and 2 Wingmade Rock. I do like the card a lot in this matchup because it can be so grindy with 1-for-1 trades, and Wingmade Rock is a way to get ahead with a 2-for-1, but yeah, you have to trigger raid before.
Yeah, Matteo kept a really slow hand here, and he's just getting really punished with plenty of lands in his hand as well. So Fabrizio Anteri takes a very quick game 1 of the finals here at GP London.
Yeah, and this matchup you cannot afford to do nothing on turns 1, 2 and 3. Siege Rhino as your first play, not going to be fast enough.
Right, so sideboards. Both decks are very similar, but they have quite different approaches in the sideboard. So Marian, walk us through what Matteo Moure can bring in.
Matteo is working with a very control-ish sideboard. He's got 2 Elspeth, 3 Tragic Arrogance, 3 copies of Herald of Torment, a Dromoka's Command, and an Unravel the Aether. Also an ultimate prize. Cards he should certainly be bringing in, I think, are the Elspeth Sun's Champion. I like that one quite a bit. Herald of Torment might look good as well, as it goes over all of the ground creatures in this matchup, and maybe even Tragic Arrogance as a card to really break the stall. Goes well against his opponent's Elspeth Sun's Champions, as we saw in the semifinals.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Herald of Torment in this matchup, even though Fabrizio does have Dromoka's Command. That seems to be a likely candidate to be boarded out, because it is kind of a risky removal spell. You might get blown out by, say, a Hero's Downfall in response, and then lose both the Dromoka's Command and the creature that you intended to fight. So the enchantment downside of Herald of Torment against Dromoka's Command doesn't seem all that important. Tragic Arrogance, indeed, a card I didn't think of all that much in this particular matchup, because, well, it is completely symmetric and we're playing a mirror match. But still it proved quite essential in the semifinals of Matteo Moure, when he managed to use it to take out a monstrous Fleecemane Lion. Even though it's hexproof and indestructible, it still has to be sacrificed, and left his opponent with just 1 soldier token from Elspeth, and then attacked Elspeth with the Siege Rhino that he kept in play. So if the game goes long and turns into these monstrous Fleecemane Lions and Elspeths, then Tragic Arrogance might be a good way to get ahead and switch the tides. But if the game comes down to just one player having only 1 creature on the table and removal spells flying left and right, it might not be all that well situated.
Yeah, and Herald of Torment actually works very well together with Tragic Arrogance, as you can choose it as an enchantment.
Yeah.
You can choose that as an enchantment. You can choose your Hangerback Walker as an artifact, and then another creature. So that way you keep 3 creatures and giving your opponent a useless 1/1, for example, from the Elspeth Sun's Champion.
It's pretty average against the Dromoka's Command, for example, and it's pretty slow too. We've seen that this matchup can be very aggressive from both sides. Depends on how they draw their cards. So we'll see what the Matteo Moure decides to go with here. It looks like he's keeping the cards in his sideboard, as well as the Tragic Arrogances. So he's bringing in just the Elspeth and maybe some of the other cards as well. Yeah, maybe some Thoughtseize. I did see a couple, but I wasn't sure if I saw all 4.
I'm not sure Thoughtseize is the card you want to be bringing in this matchup. Like, late game it's super bad, since hands will be empty. And even early games, most of these cards are very similar, like Fleecemane Lion, Anafenza, even a card like Hangerback Walker, Siege Rhino. They all do a little bit of the same. They're strong creatures. It's hard to dig a hole in the plan of a deck for like Hangerback Walker aggro. So I don't know if Thoughtseize is the card to be bringing in.
No, I have similar doubts. If I look at Fabrizio Anteri's sideboard, he has, well, 4 copies of Thoughtseize, which I don't love. 2 self-inflicted wounds, which I could see him bring in instead of Ultimate Prize, which is a very poor removal spell, doesn't have many targets in this matchup. 2 copies of Tragic Arrogance, where we were kind of on the fence about. to Elspeth, which I'm sure he will bring in. That's a good way to go over the top in this matchup. And then some remaining one-offs: Erishin Cleric, Surge of Righteousness, Glare of Heresy, Ultimate Prize, and Tessiger. Of those, I like Tessiger and Glare of Heresy in this matchup. So
those seem reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does leave Fabrizio a couple more options. I think especially Tessiger, if he manages to draw it, can actually be a pretty good card, as people don't board out their ultimate prices, and it can actually be really good in the long game where you just start using the ability.
Yeah, any card that can give you some card advantage could be huge in this matchup, and Tessiger plus an activation before it gets destroyed with a removal spell seems fine.
So there, the players are drawing their hands. It looks like Matteo Moure has enough lands. I see a couple Scry lands and Windswept Heath. Not that much action going on. Fabrizio has a thing about his hand. We don't see his cards just yet. It looks like he has a tough decision to do. He has to figure out what he wants to do in his early turns. If that is enough against what Matteo Moure has drawn up here. Remember, this is Fabrizio's 6th GP top 8. He already won 2 GP, so that would be his third idol, and he's keeping his hand. Matteo Moure starts off with a Temple of Malady, and now has to think about if he wants to keep a Caves of Koilos. No, he goes to the bottom. Fabrizio draws a Temple of Malady of his own.
And when I asked Fabrizio what the key was in this mirror match, he told me, well, just top deck Siege Rhino, which is apparently what he has been doing all weekend.
Now we to get a good look at Fabrizio's hand. It looks like he went a little more defensive. He has kept double Thoughtseize in his hand, and I actually think he has double Caves of Coils to go with that. So pretty painful hand to start in. If Matteo Moure has an aggressive start, Fabrizio might be in trouble.
Yeah, and that's exactly, especially on the draw, why I don't like Thoughtseize. Because you can't even take the 2-drop because you have so many come into play tap lands. You actually have untapped black sources. You have 1 mana Confluence and 1 Urborg. All of the other black sources come into play tapped. And so you cannot take the early Fleeceman Lion. And now you're taking 2 damage plus 3 from the Fleeceman Lion down to 15.
Yep, so there's the Thoughtseize, and we see Matteo's hand. It's a Sorin, it's a Den Protector, Dromoka's Command, Llanowar Waste, and a Caves of Koilos. So plenty of action in his hand. Pretty sure Fabrizio would have taken a Siege Rhino if he on site, but they're still hiding in Matteo's deck. And Fabrizio's hand not only has a lot of Thoughtseize, he also sees Siege Rhino and Anafenza. So he could be actually pretty happy seeing that Matteo does not have much removal for those 2 cards.
I would expect him to take the Den Protector here. It means that Matteo doesn't have a play for the next turn.
Yep.
And, well, if he would take, say, Sorin and doesn't have an answer for the Den Protector, then, well, the Den Protector is going to unmorph and just get back to Sorin. So, with Thoughtseize, when in doubt, just take out that Den Protector.
Yep. Another Temple of Malady from Fabrizio, and he keeps on top this time. So it should be a good one for the following turn. Matteo drew an Elspeth, which is not that great for now because it does cost 6 mana. We only see he has access to 4 mana so far. And we know also Fabrizio has the Thoughtseize in his hand, so he should have plenty of time to get rid of the Elspeth before Matteo can deploy it. Another interesting card, Tessiger, is the card that Fabrizio kept on top.
Yeah, a 4/5 blocker blocks the Fleeceman Line perfectly. He will already have a couple of cards in his graveyard thanks to the Thoughtseize, but instead goes for the Anafenza, the foremost.
Yeah, it's a card that Matteo doesn't have a direct way of dealing with. He can only play a Sorin, or with Dromoka's Command he could trade, but he certainly doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, then you trade 2 for 1. In a matchup where card economy is of such importance, you don't want to be offering up the 2 for 1s, you want to be taking the 2 for 1s.
I think I like the play of putting the Sorin in play here, pump and attack into the Anafenza. So if Fabrizio blocks, that's fine, then you have a Planeswalker at 5. If he doesn't block, he cannot kill the Sorin on the backswing.
Well, unless Fabrizio has Absent Charm or Dromoka's Command to pump his Anafenza. And I think Fabrizio actually does have Absent Charm.
Yeah, but Absent Charm is not that bad, I think, because then you're still keeping the Fleeceman Line. The worst thing that could happen is
Fair
definitely
enough.
Dromoka's command. If that happens now, that's super bad for Matteo because he's losing his only threat and his planeswalker.
Yeah, but Matteo goes for the minus here. Creates a 2/2 flying vampire, which also gives him the potential of a double block, but we know he's not going to take that option. So Fabrizio can certainly attack the Sorin here.
Yeah, I'm not sure that was. I mean, now you're going for the defensive plan. Well, maybe he doesn't know about the second Thoughtseize, so he's probably hoping his Elspeth can win him the game. He can already destroy the Anafenza, he thinks. But he's losing his Sorin on the attack. He doesn't want to chump. Oh, he's gonna chump with the vampire token.
Yep, so just jumping with the vampire. And now I think Fabrizio is gonna take advantage of that and run out the Siege Rhino of his own. And next turn he will have Absent Charm as well as Thoughtseize for some extra hurt. But no, he starts off with the Thoughtseize first.
Yeah, the problem with running out Siege Rhino is that he gives Matteo the opportunity of playing a 5th land and then
Yep.
making Fleeceman line monstrous. And a monstrous Fleeceman line is really hard to deal with in this matchup. Means that, for instance, that Anafenza would not be able to attack anymore.
Yep.
So Thoughtseize plus Absent Charm still means that Fabrizio can use all of his mana this turn and take out, well, the biggest threat on Matteo's side of the board.
Looks like Fabrizio is counting. He does have that Absent Charm ready in his hand.
Yeah, as I said for the previous Thoughtseize, when in doubt, it can be best to just go for the Den Protector. The biggest threat in Matteo's hand is Elspeth, but if Fabrizio discards that one, well, there's likely gonna be a Den Protector morphed on the next turn. Or maybe Matteo will wait until he finds a 5th mana and can immediately play an unmorphed Den Protector, but one way or another, that Elspeth is likely gonna return back to his hand.
So Fabrizio thinking how about the Thoughtseize. So I don't think he's taking the Dromoka's command. That one seems seems like it will stay in Matteo Moure's hand, right? So it's between Den Protector and Elspeth. Goes to Den Protector. It actually gets exiled because of the Anafenza. So yeah, Fabrizio banking on the fact that Matteo will not rip 2 lands in a row here, or maybe try to kill him before that.
That would be the best plan, although that Sorin can buy Matteo a bunch of time.
Exiles the Fleeceman line instantly, doesn't even wait, and now he will pass the turn.
And well, with a bunch of time, I mean actually a chump block, because if Matteo plus a Sorin, that's not really going to do anything, and it will just get eaten by Anafenza. If you make a vampire, well, at least you get something out of the deal, but a 2/2 flyer, not as impressive when facing down Anafenza and likely Siege Rhino on the next turn.
Yeah, and still no 5th land, so that should give Fabrizio the all clear with his Anafenza swinging in, and he can deploy his Siege Rhino.
Yeah, he's missing 1 card in his graveyard to play both the Rhino and the Tessiger, but I'm sure he will be happy playing just the Rhino. Going back up to 13 and Matteo down to 12, facing 2 very big creatures with a hand that is just screaming for 2 lands.
Yeah.
Fabrizio must also be wondering what Matteo drew, because a land he would have played, a creature, well, almost all of his creatures cost 4 mana or less he would have played as well. Removal spell he would have played. So what can Matteo have?
Yeah, Matteo's also
Maybe more expensive cards?
he's also not showing much restraint. Doesn't have much of a poker face. He's visibly showing his frustration, which is not great. He's going to take 5 from the Siege Rhino, and he also still has Ultimate Price in his deck, and he drew 1, which is not a great card for this situation. It's fine against the Tasigur that Fabrizio can play here, but he's gonna still have some mana open. I think Fabrizio also drew another Siege Rhino. See, he's just going all in. Matteo Moure down to 4, and unless there's something
That's
that
the
can
way to
kill
do
2
it.
Rhinos,
Draw more Siege Rhinos. Fabrizio said it before the match.
that's the 5th land, not the 6th one. And there's the handshake. Fabrizio Anteri with the 3rd GP win of his career. Barely missing out on gold level status the previous season. 34 points. He starts off the season with a bang, getting a nice trophy for his cabinet again.
And it was a quick match. I mean, it only took 10 or 20 minutes or so. Fabrizio wasted no time in taking down that trophy for himself.
Yeah, awesome job for him. And I mean, he chose a good deck, and it paid off. I mean, he was saying also that so many people ask him for advice on the deck, but he said, "Sorry guys, I got to focus on the GP," and focus he did.
Focus it did, and he will be there. We have the trophy for Matteo, of course, not a bad performance either, and he's gonna be coming to the booth quite soon to have a little chat with us. But we gotta be honest, this deck was the deck of the GP.
Absolutely.
I mean, 4 copies in the top 8. That's been a long time since we've had 4 exact copies in the top 8
and
of
Andre
a standard
Strasky
tour.
9th place as well with the deck, so
Same deck,
5
yeah.
copies in the top 9. That's incredible.
If you're playing the World Magic Cup qualifiers next weekend, you guys gotta be ready for this deck because it's put up some very impressive numbers. The last time we saw such a dominance in standard was around Cowblade.
This is just one event.
It's
don't
just one event,
call
but
it yet.
But this one event, it really outperformed. And how are you gonna hate out on it? I asked Fabrizio Anteri, what is the way to beat your deck? He said, well, you should just play Esper Dragons next weekend.
Yeah, control decks
Yeah.
that can go over the top of the Abzan deck while controlling the game early on are the best way to go. Abzan control should also be well positioned in this matchup. It's kind of a similar deck, but then has Elspeth for the late game.
Yeah,
I still like that. Or if you're playing red, just go for the Magma Spray.
I think it just means that the metagame has to evolve. For example, a lot of the Abzan deck during this tournament were not that well positioned in this matchup because they started running Course of Crewfix and cutting on languishes. And I think you should maybe go the other way around. Anyway, we already have the winner here, so I'm going to lose 2 of you and welcome the winner here.
Bye, guys.
Bye, losers. Please.
Left and right.
As you like. Hey, Fabrizio.
There we are.
Congratulations.
Hello. Thank you.
Is your trophy cabinet big enough still to accommodate one more
I
trophy?
definitely have a space for more trophies, yes.
So, just a little background. Before this week, we talked a lot on Facebook about this deck. Did you imagine you would be able to win the tournament when we talked on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever it was?
I really like the deck since I first saw it, and I felt more confident every time I was testing. But obviously, there is a huge difference between knowing, feeling confident with the deck, and having the feeling that you're going to do well. To that, just taking the whole thing down is.
Sure.
There is a lot of good draws. I'm sure you saw a lot of them in camera.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I also saw a lot of top decks over the weekend as we saw you in the feature match, which was great to see. But for those of you who don't have the background about how you got the deck, so tell us a little about how you came about playing this deck.
The first person, basically, after the Pro Tour, I figured out that green-white will be a good option after I seen mono-red and blue-red artifacts. And that was like 2 days after the Pro Tour, and everyone I spoke with, apparently everyone figured it out the same. And I was like, well, if everyone figured out the same, I cannot play this deck. I want to be one level ahead. And actually, that's what happened in San Diego. All the green-whites, there were not many in the top 8, but the whole top 32 was full of green-white. I hit with this deck, I think it was the same week in San Diego. Andrzej Strasky gave me the deck list. He told me, I'm 15-0 with this deck. It's really good. And I was like, 15-0, it's just unreal. I took it myself. I went 14-0 before losing my 15th match. I felt I was drawing really well with the deck on Magic Online. Like, all the hands were above average. But still, the deck was definitely really good. I feel confident. Just keep playing in 8-mans in Magic Online. I had a friend staying with me from Tuesday. We were also testing, not in real life, still Magic Online, but him against me. And he actually also played the deck. This is Daniel Fior, who I'm talking about. He also took with the deck. So yeah, I think the deck is great.
Yeah, obviously.
It was, and obviously the mirror match in the finals proved that was probably the best option for this tournament.
Yeah, well, best choice for the tournament, as you say, because we saw you and Daniel Fior in the top 8. 9th place, Andrzej Strasky, that's your version of the deck. And then we saw the version of the Italians with Camilluzzi and Moure running a slightly different version with Wing Made Rocks, but still, I think there's a lot of similarities in the main deck. But you came out ahead, beating out Matteo. Did you ever imagine it would be so fast winning the finals?
No, and I was just telling Greg, this is not the first time I just win a final that is just upside from one side. Obviously, you expect to be the most exciting match at the finals, and it kind of feel bad because I will have like to enjoy the match and something like more close, maybe a 3 games match.
Right.
Obviously,
I don't believe you, but
10 times better. I'm still happy for winning, but I will have enjoyed much better if it would have been a close match.
Of course. Well, you went on a tear this tournament, so it's great. So I want to ask you something. Last season, you finished the season on 34 points, barely missing out on gold. I'm sure you felt crushed about that. I remember you telling about you having to find a job now because not being a pro has put a strain. Does this title change anything?
Not really, in the sense that last year I played as a gold player, and I know what it means. What's the income you can have doing that and living in London? Like, I'm sure it will have been much easier somewhere else, but London is really expensive.
Yeah.
I really like being here, so I don't want to move. So not having a job in London is really hard.
Yeah.
Obviously, Platinum is a whole different story, but even with much better results as a gold player, I don't think we'll have managed anyway just to get enough money for living. So I'm still I'm going on Thursday to my local magic store. I'm trying to work there as a staff. If I like the job and
Sure.
if the guys like me, I'll start working there part-time. So my plan of still getting a job is still standing.
Yeah. Well, I have a suggestion for you. When you go in for the interview, just bring your 3 trophies and it's like, guys, I won 3 GPs. You gotta take me.
These are my arguments. Do I get the job?
Pretty much. Anyway, so that's it for us for GP London. You have the winner. And Fabrizio Anteri, congratulations again.
Thank you.
It was a fantastic tournament. I'm so glad you joined us. And we'll be back for the coverage of Grand Prix Madrid in a 1 month's time. But before that, make sure to not miss the coverage from World Championships in 2 weeks' time at PAX Prime in Seattle. It's going to be a doozy. So many good players. It's going to be a blast. So for me, all the staff here, thank you for watching and see you soon.